Hello and welcome to Spark Joy Astrology. My name is Joy and I am here to walk you through the exact aspects that are happening on August 23rd, 2023. And today is a big day as far as the cosmos go, friends. We have the Sun who is moving into Virgo, and we also have Mercury who is in the sign of Virgo going retrograde today. And we start the day with the Sun moving into Virgo right off the bat at 3:01 a.m. Mountain Daylight Time. This is a invigoration into this mission of wellness that Mars, Mercury, and Pallas Athena have already been working on, as they are already in the sign of Virgo. This is a mutable sign. Virgo is that in-between time of summer and fall. So we do have this ability to get chameleon-like, be able to be adaptable during this particular season. Our Sun leaving Leo, that emphasis on the love revolution of Venus retrograde and Black Moon Lilith and Juno all in Leo. So we have a flavor shift, if you will, from this super focused on our heart's desires into more of a daily routine wellness, health, and organization flavor. It is very beautiful that school starts around when Virgo season begins, because we're all ready to get back into routine and get back at the work, friends. So here we are with our Sun there. This Sun cycle is one that will have a few interesting aspects. The Sun will oppose Saturn retrograde early on, and then in the end oppose Neptune retrograde, both in Pisces. So there's this kind of bookends with Pisces to this particular cycle. The Sun will also make a trine to Jupiter and Pluto during this cycle. It will conjunct Mercury, and the most interesting part, friends, for me at least, is that the new moon, when the Sun and the moon come together in Virgo on September 14th, they are coming together at the 21st degree, which is exactly where Mercury goes retrograde today. So we will definitely speak to the Sabian symbol of the 22nd degree of Virgo, because you always round up. But yes, let's dive into the next aspect. At 11:03 a.m. Mountain Daylight Time, the moon at 21 degrees of Scorpio. So we are going intense with our emotions, getting into all of the feelings and really wanting to get into that emotional depth. So sextiling Mercury. Here's the check-in with Mercury by our moon, by our emotional nature before they go retrograde. Mercury is an androgynous fellow, or they are an androgynous being, so they encapsulate both the feminine and the masculine equally. So it's an interesting sign in that it can really offer us this balance, this healing, and especially in the sign of Virgo. So as it's being checked in by the moon through this sextile, we are really offered up a harmonious conversation, communication, not only with others, but with ourselves. This is a time to check in with our own wellness, our own health, our mental health, our physical health, all of the realms of health that go into a full, whole health. That is Virgo, is this wholeness. Okay, so this check-in is asking us to get in with ourselves, check in with our own sensitivities, as well as other people in our lives. So we have this really caring, sentimental, cooperative vibes that we're working with early in the morning, which is a nice way to start this cycle of retrograde Mercury. We are going deep, friends. This cycle really speaks to working with multi-dimensional realms. I'm speaking about our ancestors, because truly for us to be well, we need help, we need support, and we're working out patterns and cycles that our ancestors have passed on to us. And so to truly heal them, we need the help of those ancestors. And this particular cycle, this retrograde cycle, I think is going to get deep into those multi-dimensional supportive layers. So here we go, friends. Let's dive into the Sabian symbol of Mercury at 21 degrees, where he is checking into the moon. The Sabian symbol, rounding up to 22, is a royal coat of arms enriched with precious stones. So right off the bat, this ties into a strong sense of tradition, of family, of prestige and royalty. The royal coat of arms is a beautiful seal, if you will, that encapsulates all of the royal family's lineage, all in one beautiful drawing. And these are really potent energy signatures of a lineage, right? So having this be where Mercury starts his retrograde really signifies to us that we are working with deep tradition and the preciousness, the gifts that come from this lineage, from our family, from our blood. And so what a beautiful Sabian symbol to be working into this traditional energy. But what I find most beautiful about this retrograde, friends, is that we are working from the old and working into the new with the help of our ancestors, because by the end of this retrograde, Mercury will be at 8 degrees of Virgo. The Sabian symbol for 9 degrees of Virgo is an expressionist painter at work. So what this really signifies to me, friends, is that we are moving from tradition, learning from our ancestors, getting those beautiful treasures, and then we are working into electrifying that into a whole new way, a whole new story, a whole new impressionistic. So that is in itself very abstract and exciting and free, if you will. And the fact that we're still working on it, right? Painter at work means that we're not going to complete at the end of this retrograde. In fact, the work will still continue through the post-shadow phase until Mercury gets back to that 21st degree. And then I'd love to see at this point how we've integrated this newness. Oh, friends, if you were with me yesterday, you know that our sun is at 28 degrees of Leo, now 29 today. Or I shouldn't say today because I'm speaking to the 23rd and today's the 22nd. So on the 22nd, our sun is at 28 degrees. And that Sabian symbol speaks to a mermaid emerging from the waters, being reborn as a human. So again, this highlight of moving from old stories and into new versions, new stories, completely exciting new versions, friends. So here's another, drum roll, if you will, beating that drum to transformation. Okay, let's move on to the next aspect. At 1:19 p.m., the moon at 23 degrees of Scorpio opposes Uranus at 23 degrees of Taurus. Uranus is holding strong at 23 degrees. This is where he's stationing right now to go retrograde next week. So here we go with this Uranus check-in. It's an opposition, meaning we may have some at odds energy, some pointing out where we could where we need more freedom, perhaps because it is Uranus, where we need more independence, more innovation energy in our life, especially around our emotional nature. This charges our emotions with that lightning bolt energy. So we may come into some individualistic ideas, some unique ideas. Our authentic nature may come into play here through some challenge, or maybe just some beautiful lesson that shows it to us. But we are being asked in this particular aspect to live our most authentic life. What is working towards that and what is not? And maybe these are themes that we will be visiting during the retrograde, which, friends, is where we go next. At 1:59 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time, Mercury stations to go retrograde at that 21st degree. Okay, so Mercury entered into Virgo on July 28th, and they will be here all the way until October 4th. It's a really long time for Mercury to be in one sign, which is really exciting, friends, because Mercury is home in Virgo. And okay, so the retrograde will be happening from today, August 23rd, until September 15th. So we're going from that 21st degree back to 8, and then from 8 degrees back to the 21st degree, and then that will end the post shadow phase, and then Mercury will quickly leave Virgo on October 4th. So during these months of time that Virgo is in its home sign, we are being given the opportunity to heal the yin and the yang within. This is that beautiful balancing of yin and yang, so that we can find it within and then shine it out into our external relationships and world. Because our lovely Mercury is androgynous, they do have that yin and yang energy made up in them. And because Mercury is in his home sign of Virgo, so rulership is on par, as well as Mercury is exalted in Virgo. The exaltation is by the nature of the moon, and the rulership is by the nature of the sun. So the fact that they have both in this house really speaks to that balance of yin and yang, right? The next level of awesomeness is that when the sun moves through any house and comes into contact with a planet, it can actually burn that planet up if it is within the appropriate degree range. Anything that is in 0 to 3 degree range of the sun is in Cazimi, in the chariot of the sun, where it is protected. But outside of that protection range, they are getting burned up if they are within 10 degrees of the sun. And this means that that planet cannot exude itself very well. It feels sluggish and slow. But what is beautiful about the sun being in Virgo and Mercury being in Virgo, Mercury's home there. So he's exalted. He is in the sun's chariot, even in that combustion range. There is no combustion range here because Mercury is being uplifted in this home of Virgo, and the sun is only going to help them get even more amazing here. So friends, this is a beautiful Mercury retrograde. I absolutely love that it is happening in Virgo, in this earthy sign where we are working to materialize a new life, a new reality. And Mars and Pallas Athena and Mercury, who's going retrograde here, are really driving it home, friends. Okay, so let's see, diving deeper into the aspects that Mercury will be making during his retrograde brings us another level of awesomeness, because Mercury will be making a trine to Jupiter. This is an earth trine. You know, we got Mercury in an earth sign of Virgo, and then you have Jupiter in the earth sign of Taurus. So again, grounding things into reality, creating a new version of us. We are very empowered to do that, friends. And this trine to Jupiter is an expansive blessing aspect. So good things are going to be abounding. On August 10th was the first time that they made that trine. And now that Mercury will be going retrograde, that second trine will happen on September 4th, right in the midst of Venus squaring Jupiter. So we're going to have Mercury trining Jupiter at that same time. Huge love revolution energy, friends. This is where we are being asked to shift and change and up level and break old patterns and revolutionize ourselves. It's a very exciting time to be alive. I don't know if you feel that, but I certainly do. Okay, so moving on to the next aspect after Mercury is officially retrograding and moving backwards, back down through Virgo, we now check back into the moon. The moon at 5:46 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time is at 25 degrees of Scorpio and comes into a square with Black Moon Lilith at 25 degrees of Leo. Now, you know, friends, if you've been following me, that Black Moon Lilith has been very close to Venus during her cycle in Leo, direct and retrograde. They've been at it together. So we've been really working with releasing fears, releasing that victimization mentality, the martyr mentality, anything that we feel repressed, especially around our sexuality. And so now that Mercury is retrograde in that wellness house, we have our moon squaring Black Moon Lilith. So this is where we can be checking into some deep inner emotional frustration. It can be around our sexuality. It can be around other people repressing our sexuality or restricting us in some way, our unique spark. We can also come up with feelings of being insecure or needing validation and not getting it. This can be challenging, friends, but these little challenges are what we're working towards seeing, healing, alchemizing, and up-leveling through this potent journey of Mercury in Virgo. All right, so moving to the next aspect at 8:33 p.m., the moon comes into a trine with Neptune. Neptune is retrograde in Pisces. Pisces is very psychic, the waters of intuition, and Neptune is our spiritual planet. So immediately with a trine to the moon, we are tapping into some intuition, dreams, beautiful spiritual realms open up to us in this particular aspect. It's a super creative aspect. So if you are an artist, if you like to write, this is a beautiful time to find that inspiration. And maybe if you aren't like ones that make those sort of things, but you enjoy them, it's a beautiful evening on Wednesday to go see some art or music, but take in creativity or give out creativity. Our emotions are craving it at 8:33 p.m. Okay, at 10:09 p.m., the next aspect goes down, and the moon at 27 degrees of Scorpio sextiles Mars at 27 degrees of Virgo. So Virgo, here we go again. We're checking in now to Mars. We already checked into Mercury before he went retrograde, but now the moon is asking Mars, all right, so we're going inward. We're going retrograde motion with Mercury, meaning we're going to shine that spotlight of self-communication and alchemy within. Now, Mars, how are you going to make this mission in an outer way? Because Mars is going direct, friends. He's really the only planet that is going full steam ahead. We have so many planets in retrograde and planets in stationed spaces where they're going to stop and go retrograde at. So Mars is our like gung-ho friend, which he always normally is, except for when he's in retrograde. But this is a beautiful energy to, it's a subtle energy because it's a sextile, but to tune in to increase our feelings towards that desire to achieve. It's really passionate energy. So the passion to be enthusiastic and to work hard, right? Virgo is that let's get it done energy. So I employ you, friends, to get your work done. Oftentimes we want to jump into play instead of get all the task list finished. But this aspect is really asking us to do the work, get it done. And I really also feel that the square between Venus and Jupiter that went down, started yesterday, that will be with us for a month at least, is asking us to make sure you do the work first, friends, before you have the fun. But once you do that work, there is ample fun to be had. So very exciting there. All right, the next aspect that we have is the last one of the day, and it is at 11:10 p.m. when the moon at 28 degrees of Scorpio, we're at the end, friends, makes a sextile to Pluto at 28 degrees in Capricorn. Pluto is also going retrograde, so we are working with an deep inner transformation that's been going down. We're at the end of a cycle that began in 2008. So this is some big check-in energy as Mercury has gone retrograde. Now our moon is asking Pluto where our deepest desires are at. Let's take inventory of them. And are we in touch with this plan to move forward towards those deepest desires, right? Mars is in that go motion. Now we're checking in with Pluto. Our deepest desires, are they being looked at because they need to be a part of this wellness plan? That's what this love revolution has been teaching us, that our hearts need to take precedent. They need to have priority for us to move forward in this next chapter, this next version of us. But the wellness plan is so important, friends, and it includes our deepest desires. Black Moon Lilith is making sure we're tuned in to what we are desiring, friends. So this particular aspect at the end of the day could be an emotional rebirth, a renewal energy towards that vision of what we want to move into. So get in touch with those visions, integrate them. How can you bring them into your daily life? It is very important to make sure your desires are being met as much as the work is being met, friends. But I wish you the most beautiful Mercury retrograde and Sun in Virgo season. A lot going down in that Virgo house. So yes, as a Virgo rising, I am just sending you all kinds of love out there, sending you love and light and joy. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Mwah.